he doesn't know what the that is. At this age, you aren't even fully going in puberty. So a 31-year-old woman and a 13-year-old boy ended up doing the nasty and having a child. This is just terrible in every sense of the word. How does a 31-year-old do this to a 13-year-old? She's a fucking file. It's completely insane. A 13-year-old doesn't even know right from wrong, nor do they even know what to do in a situation like that. So she completely took advantage of this little boy, no matter which way, no matter how you fucking look at it. And his mother feels like his childhood was robbed. And it is, because right now, that 13-year-old is practically a fucking man. Like, he has a whole kid. There's literally nothing he's going to be able to do. He's going to have to cater to that child for the rest of his life before he can even decide what the his dreams even were. And this 31-year-old woman will not suffer any jail time because she will just be registered as a sex offender. The worst that is possibly going to happen is that she's going to spend either 10 years or the rest of her life on intensive supervised probation. What makes this even more disturbing is the very fact that this 13-year-old boy would look at this 31-year-old woman as if she's a mother figure, and he would even call her mom. Really, I think we can all agree that there is definitely some kind of predatory behavior involved, and really, a lot of people, I can see why they're upset at this. Clearly, there is some kind of a double standard, because if this were a man and the 13-year-old boy was a little girl, I swear this guy would be getting executed. However, maybe due to the fact that this 31-year-old is a woman, she might be getting a different kind of sentence. However, this still doesn't change the very fact that she is also the person who's going to have to take most of the responsibility for raising this child. And really, it's hard to see that even happening, because where is this person's headspace? Why in the would they allow a child to... Oh my God. This is just insane. The fact that this person just thought that this was okay, that they thought that this was a good idea, that they thought for a second that something would come out of this. And unfortunately, something did. And it just comes at the expense of two children. It's very frustrating to say the least, because their lives are both being thrown into a limbo simply because of one woman's disgusting, selfish, and childish decision. Honestly, you guys gotta let me know how you are feeling about them making her charges lighter than what it would be for a male in this situation. And also, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. I need it, please. But back onto the child's family. Honestly, if I were the parent of this child, I'd be completely pissed. I would actually just want to fight this woman who did this, because without a doubt, she took complete advantage of their child, their naive child that had no care in the world, the child that is only supposed to be focused on playing video games and having good grades and enjoying his life. And now here he is, ignorantly making another life. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know what the that is. At this age, you aren't even fully going in puberty. It's asinine that this woman would do this. No, I don't even know if I can call her a woman at this point. This sociopath, this fucking file. How does a 13-year-old even go about raising this kid? How did he's not even certain whether or not he even wants a kid, let alone even knowing where babies come from, man. This is absolutely crazy. There's no way to understand any form of action that was taken here. Not that I'd even want to understand, but it's just a very weird situation for a fucking adult to do this. For him to have a child at such a young age is already an oddity in and of itself, but with such an older woman who just clearly has a lot more control of the situation than he does, it's just like, what is his life at that point? What can he do, honestly? I just don't know how he could, cement anything moving forward. I hate to say it, but it just feels like he's this freak's slave for the rest of his life, and that's why I really do think the parents of this child definitely deserve a little bit more justice brought forth to this perpetrator here. It's really just cruel at the end of the day, because this kid literally is having his entire life snatched away from him. How does he start a relationship with anyone in his high school or in the future of his life with so much stacked against him and already having a baby mama that he's tied to. Like, what is this doing to this child mentally? This scumbag is just way more experienced than this child, and it's just way too convenient for her because honestly, it's going to turn into a situation where it's this child's family versus this woman, and things are going to get ugly really fast. One thing that makes this entire situation a lot more complex is trying to understand what exactly this woman's agenda is going to be when it comes to this child. If she can barely sustain herself in the presence of a 13-year-old, what makes anyone think that she's going to be able to even raise this kid? If you want to be honest, she practically has 2 sons now, even if you want to consider the 13-year-old as the father to her son. Like, I can really feel for the family here, and I can understand why they're trying to take custody of their son's child, because really, this person is just not fit to have that child in their presence, let alone the 13-year-old. There shouldn't even be a debate about this because mentally, there is no way a 31-year-old woman that has any type of common sense is going to even engage in any type of sexual contact with a child. And it even gets worse here because she even has a lesser charge, which is one of Alright, so this just lets the mind wander to one of the worst abysses you could think of, because the 13-year-old, it actually turns out that they were living in the same house in Colorado when this happened. If this child is going to go as far as to calling this person mom, and she's going to do this to someone who considers them as a mother figure, imagine what they're going to do with the child. Wow. It is a recipe for disaster. And I just hope that this family actually does win custody, because this 31-year-old, I don't care how you shape it, how you want to look at it, this person is a maniac. Children don't need to be around this type of really, because they can't even control their own lives, let alone even be aware of the consequences of any action that they take. It is not fair to them at all to have to put up with anything like this. It's just disgusting, stomach-turning even, that a 31-year-old wouldn't even take the lives of this child and the soon-to-be-born child into consideration. There just wasn't a single thought up there, huh? That's just insane to believe. At this point, people really just don't care. And that's the saddest part about it, because there's no way something like this happens and someone does not think about what they're doing. Someone with 31 years of experience on this earth, if you can tell me with a straight face that they did this and didn't think of any of the consequences, that just sounds crazy. This bitch for real, man. People need to, I hope all of you can just focus on keeping the children safe, because really, that's what matters above anything else, especially above yourself. Unfortunately, one idiot didn't care about the children, and look what happened. 2 lives are just thrown into chaos just for some underdeveloped Vienna sausage penis. Really, man? Really? Fucking disgusting.